What's going on, everyone? This is Brett Darian, and today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 2. Now, the PlayStation 2 came out on October 26th in the year 2000. Now, I did miss the 20-year anniversary last year, so now it's 21 years old. But I didn't have a PlayStation 2 last year. This PlayStation 2 I actually got recently, and I actually did a video on it. So if you haven't seen that video, you can go watch it. There should be a link to it, I think, up in here somewhere, I believe. So if you click on that, and you can watch that video when I got this PlayStation 2. But anyway, we're going to talk about the PlayStation 2 today because it came out 21 years ago. And I thought I would use this opportunity to talk about the PlayStation 2 and what games I've played on it and my experiences with it when I first played it and all that stuff. So, should be fun. So the PlayStation 2, as I just said, it came out in the year 2000. It was the successor to the original PlayStation, which came out in 1995 here in the States. And it was widely popular. Now, funny enough, I actually never have owned an original PlayStation. And so the PlayStation 2 was actually my first PlayStation when I first got it. But how I first started playing the PlayStation 2 was, well, the first time I played a PlayStation 2 was actually was when I rented the system, because back in the day, you could actually rent video game consoles, even as most recent as like the early 2000s. Then after that, it kind of faded away. But you could rent the PlayStation 2, and I also rented the Dreamcast, and I think they also had a Nintendo 64 for rent as well. And so yeah, I mean that was really cool. We had like a local like mom and pop rental store up the road from us, so that's how I was able to rent games. But also Blockbuster and Highwood Video, I think, also rented game consoles. But anyway, so I rented the PlayStation 2, and this was probably this may have been 2001. I'm not exactly sure what year it was, but I know it was really early on. And I remember playing 2 games. I may have gotten 3 games with the rental, but I remember playing 2. And one of them was Gran Turismo 3. And I had a really good time with it. I really enjoyed playing Gran Turismo 3. Because at the time, I never really played any simulation racing games. So playing this game where I could, like buy real cars and race them and upgrade them and put new parts in them and stuff, I mean, that was just really, really cool at the time. Even though they had that on the PlayStation with Gran Turismo 1 and 2, I never played any of those, so the third one was the first one I played, and I really liked it, so yeah. And the second game I played on it was an ATV game. I'm not sure if it was ATV Off-Road Fury or another ATV game. But it was obviously one of the really early PS2 games. So I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was an ATV game. And that one I didn't play as much. I just basically played like the training mode and stuff. I mean, which was kind of cool too, but didn't enjoy it as much as Gran Turismo 3. So that was the rental. And so I liked the PlayStation 2, but so naturally I wanted to get one. But at the time, I had a Nintendo 64 and a Dreamcast. Both awesome systems. And the Nintendo 64, I think that was the original Nintendo 64 that I had like when I was a kid, like when I got that in like 97. This was the original Nintendo 64 I had, and the Sega Dreamcast I had as well, the original one I had. And in order to get the PlayStation 2, I had to sell both of those systems, which I do regret now. But I had to sell both of those systems to get the PlayStation 2 for the first time. So I sold both the N64, the Dreamcast, and of course all the games I had with it. I don't remember how much I got for them, but it was probably close to how much I needed to get the PlayStation 2. And And yeah, so we went to Walmart and I got the bundle that came with the PlayStation 2 system and Gran Turismo 3. It was in a red box and it cost $330. It was $329, which was actually a discount because the system by itself launched at $299 and Gran Turismo 3 was $49.99. But if you bought the bundle, you essentially saved $20. So it was kind of a good deal, I guess. So anyway, yeah, so I got the red box that had the Gran Turismo 3 bundled in with the console. So for that little short time, that's the only games I had. I only had the PlayStation 2 and one game for it, Gran Turismo 3. That's all I had. When I first got the PS2, that's all I had was just the PS2 and Gran Turismo 3. That's it. Now, naturally, I did eventually get more games for it, but we'll go into the games a little bit later. But yeah, so that's how I got the PlayStation 2 originally. Now, I eventually sold that PS2 for something else, and and kind of went back and forth. I bought it again, and played it some more, then sold it again, then bought it again. And, this was, this PS2 you see here, this is probably like my fourth PS2, maybe even the fifth one, because I've had it several times over my lifetime. And so, yeah, so a little more about the console. This is the original fat model. The original fat model, as they call it. This is not a launch model, but this is the same look as the launch model. This is what they would call the fat model, and and on the back we also have the Ethernet adapter attached as well. This eventually came bundled with the console, I think. And I think that's the one I ended up with here. But this system here is actually pretty clean. A lot of PS2s now you see are dirty and scratched, but this one, fortunately, is in really good condition. But over time, Sony eventually released a slim PS2 that just had a top loader that you just popped up and put the disc in. But I never actually had the slim PS2. I've always had these models. I've always preferred the look of these models. And I actually have always liked the way this console looks. Like, it just looks futuristic. Like, you can set it up like this. And I mean, this just looks really nice. I think it still looks nice today. Now, some may not like the way this console looks, but I always have. So I really like the way this console looks. I think it looks really, really cool, even today. But anyway, so yeah, that's the PS2, and the real big thing about the PS2 as well is that when it first came out, the fact that it could play DVDs was a really big deal. And this is ultimately what hurt the Sega Dreamcast. In fact, many would argue that the PS2 is actually what ultimately killed the Sega Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast was doing fairly well when it first came out in 1999, but then when the PS2 was announced and then eventually launched, well, that took all the attention away from the Dreamcast, and now everybody wants a PS2. And eventually everyone did get a PS2. Like, if you're around my age and you're a gamer, you probably had a PS2. Pretty much everyone had a PS2 at some point. And who could blame them? Because there are so many games now for the PS2, like thousands. So many games came out for the PS2, and it had such a very long lifespan that, I mean, you really just can't beat the PS2. So that's the console itself. The PS2 was a great system, and the fact that it could play DVDs as well was a really big bonus. And because at the time when the PS2 came out, DVD players were still fairly new and they could still be expensive. But the PS2, it's $299. It can play the latest games, and it can also play DVDs. So it's actually a really good deal. So that's the console, like I said before many times now. This is the console. That's my history with it. So now, let's talk about the games. Now, these are the games that I currently have, but this is not all the games that I played for the console, but these are the ones that I currently have. And in fact, most of these games here that you see, most of these games are games that I actually did not own originally, like when I first had the PS2 and stuff. These are actually like games that I just bought recently and never had before and never played before. So yeah, let's go through them now. So first up, we have Monster Lab. Now, this game did come out on the Wii, I think, but if you don't like the Wii's motion controls or any of the controller setups for the Wii, then this will probably be the version you want to play. And I did play this game a little bit. I did try it out, and it's actually not bad. Like, it's got some, like, it has like this overworld, like in Super Mario World, and you also fight these monsters in like a turn-based battle system. So it's actually not bad. It's actually kind of cool. It's not a bad Halloween game. And you eventually get to create your own monsters and everything. So it's pretty cool. It's worth checking out. Next up, My Street. I've always been curious about this game. I've seen it in stores way back in the day. And I was always wondering, like, what it was about and if it was fun. I did try it out a little bit, and well, this game probably isn't really worth playing today. Maybe if you still have, maybe if you have little kids or something, this game would be good for them. But since I didn't play this game when I was a kid, I don't have any nostalgia for it, and it's probably not worth really playing today. Though it does have some kind of cool mini games, and you get to run around the neighborhood, which is probably pretty novel at the time. And it also had online play as well, which was also really cool for the time as well. But of course, that doesn't work anymore. So, but still, cool for what it is. Now, Space Race. This is Looney Tunes Space Race that came out in the Sega Dreamcast. And it came ported as well to the PS2, which I didn't know back then. I just found that out recently. And the two versions are basically the same, though I think, if I remember correctly, I think this version has a championship mode, or a tournament mode that the Dreamcast version does not have. And this version also has I think, a faster frame rate. But other than that, they're essentially the same game. But it's cool to have both versions of the game, and these games are all complete, by the way. They all have their manuals and stuff, so it's really cool to have this version of the Space Race. Next up, Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Now, this is a aerial combat game where you're in a plane and you're shooting stuff down. Not my top genre of video game. But still, the fact this has Snoopy in it makes it a little more novel. Though I'm not that familiar with Snoopy or the Peanuts characters in general. But still, for what it is, this is pretty cool. And the only reason I got this game was because I saw it like I saw like a review of it on YouTube, and they said it was actually a pretty decent game. So I went and picked it up. Now, this is Kinetica. This is a racing game, a futuristic racing game, but instead of racing in karts or hovermobiles or something like that, you're actually in like a kinetic suit. So you're like racing like this. You're like in a suit, and your suit has wheels on it, and you're like, racing around like this. It's actually pretty neat. But this game is difficult. It's actually pretty hard. You're riding really, really fast. You're going really, really fast. And yeah, so it is pretty difficult. But if you can master it, it's pretty good. Next up, Jet X2O. This is another watercraft, waterboat racing game. Not as good as Hydro Thunder or the next game that I'm getting ready to show. But still, it's got some cool stuff, like it's got a 300-foot waterfall, and and blast through Poseidon's mouth. So, so it is pretty cool, but nothing too exciting, but it is pretty cool. And next, Splashdown, Rides Gone Wild. Now, there was an original Splashdown that came in on the Xbox, and I do have that game. It's not great, but it does have some really good water effects. And when I found out that there was a sequel to Splashdown that did not come out on the Xbox, it only came out on PS2, well, then I had to have it. And yeah, this game is called Rides Gone Wild because you're basically you're racing on theme park inspired tracks, which is really, really neat. Now, unfortunately, I know I saw these games are complete, but I lied. This one is not complete, unfortunately. But this game is really fun. I really like it. It's kind of close to Hydro Thunder, which, I mean, in case you couldn't tell, is like one of my top favorite racing games. So I got to compare like every boat racing game to Hydro Thunder because it's one of my favorites, and this one does come close. Next, we have Escape from Monkey Island. This is actually one of the games that I played when I was a teenager on the PS2, and I actually did like it. And this is so far the only like Monkey Island game I've played. There have been a few others, but this is the only one I'm familiar with, and I did enjoy this one. This is like an adventure game, kind of like this game would fit really well on PC, and I'm pretty sure it is on PC. But playing it on PS2 is pretty cool as well. Next up, we have Jack X Combat Racing, which I did have as well when I was younger. And this is a cool game. It's, I mean, you familiar with the Jack games? I played all 3 Jack games on PS2. You don't see them here, but I did play all 3 Jack games on the PlayStation 2. And this is basically like the kart racer. Well, this isn't particularly a kart racer. This is like the kart racer mascot game for Jack and Daxter, and it is pretty good. And finally, this is my most recent pickup for the PlayStation 2, Woody Woodpecker, and an Escape from Buzz Buzzard Park. I wanted to like this game. And I played it recently, like last week or something, and I'm not really enjoying it. The game is, like, it's definitely a kid's game, but I'm just not having a good time with it. It's a bit frustrating, and I'm having trouble with the first boss. So either I shouldn't be playing kids' games, or this game is just not that good, so yeah, but I might give it a second chance. I do want to like this game. It does have some interesting, it does have interesting presentation, but unfortunately, just not really enjoying the gameplay. But anyway, so that is all of the PlayStation 2 games that I currently own physically. However, those are not all the games that I played on the PS2, because I do have some. Because you can play some PS2 games on the PS4. So I have like the Jak and Daxter collection. I have Jak 1, Jak 2, Jak 3, as well as a Jak X. I have that on PS4. And Dark Cloud. I really enjoyed playing Dark Cloud on the PS2 when I was a teenager. Like when I was like 12 or 13, I remember playing Dark Cloud, and I really enjoyed that game. I think I got to nearly the end. Maybe I even beat the game. So I really enjoyed Dark Cloud. I really liked the game. Highly recommend checking it out if you like RPGs and you have not played Dark Cloud. Definitely play it. And another odd racing game called Gadget Racers. I remember playing Gadget Racers on the PS2 long time ago, though. I think maybe I rented the game or maybe I bought it. I'm not sure. But I did play Gadget Racers, and I remember liking it, I think. So if I do find it in stores somewhere, I'm assuming it's probably a cheap game by this point. So if I do find it in stores, I'll probably pick it up and add it to my collection. And also can't forget to mention the Ratchet games. Funny enough, I never played the first Ratchet game. But I did play Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, which is the third game, and that's the first game, the first Ratchet game I played, and I really, really liked it. So then I went back and played Going Commando, which is the second game, and liked that one as well. So then when I played the first game, so I played them backwards, played the third game first, the second game second, and the first game third, and I ended up not liking the first game as much. But still, they're all great games, and I played the Ratchet games on the PS3 as well. And in fact, I've been playing the PS5 version of Ratchet and Clank, and I'm right at the final boss. So I'm about ready to beat that as well. So yes, love Ratchet and Clank, and started on the PS2, and it was a great time. And the final series of games that I'll mention that I played but don't have here is the Sly Cooper collection. I really like Ratchet. I never played the first Sly Cooper, but I did play Sly 2 and really, really enjoyed Sly 2. And then I played Sly 3, and I really liked that one too. Not quite as well as Sly 2, but I did play Sly 3, and it's still cool. Sly 3 also came with like these 3D glasses that you would put on and kind of see some 3D effects. It wasn't that great, but I mean, it did kind of work, I guess. So, whatever. Yeah, lots of great games on the PS2, lots of great games that I haven't played yet and look forward to playing. And that's what I'm doing currently. That's why I have a PS2 again, because I want to go back and play all of the PS2 games that I did not play before, and ones that are exclusive to PS2. Because if a game's multi-plat, like it came out on PS2 and Xbox, I'll most likely get it on Xbox. But there are also a good amount of games that came out only on PS2, not Xbox. So I'm looking to get a lot of those and play them. So anyhow, guys, that'll do it for my experiences with the PlayStation 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to give this video a like if you liked it. It really helps me out. And subscribe if you want to. And stay tuned for my videos next month. I got videos coming out on the original Xbox as well as the GameCube. So I hope to see you guys in those videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.